Hello StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void series! This is a best of 3 between Neeb and uThermal from the WCS Copa Intercontinental that wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. And game number 1 is here on Galactic Process. In the bottom left side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. It is Neeb. And in the top right side of the map, we have the blue Terran player. It is uThermal. So again, this is a best of 3. I'm using the old default observer interface, so I don't actually have a way to track who's won what games. But as it's only a best of 3, I can't imagine it's going to be difficult for us to keep track of who is leading and who is losing in a particular game. So PvT. Is this my first PvT series? This might be. I've definitely done ZVT. And I've definitely done ZVP in my series, but I don't know if I've actually run a PvT before on a best of whatever. So again, this is a best of 3. First player to win 2 games is going to win the series and move on to the next round. So we'll see who that's going to be. I actually don't remember what round this is from. So I could pull up the thing over here, but then I'd have to alt-tab out. Don't want to do that. All right, so Neeb is here in the bottom left, again representing Ting, just a wonderful player in his own right. uThermal is from Team Liquid. He moved from AT Gaming. I incorrectly identified him as being with AT Gaming in my previous cast of his, but no, he's with Team Liquid now. I knew that too. I did. I follow him on Twitter, and I saw him move. He's like Liquid Thermi now. I just completely spaced it when I was casting it live, so apologies for that one. It is a barracks opening, but no Reaper, instead getting a reactor on that barracks instead, and the probe trying to kill the SCV, building the expansion command center. A friend SCV shows up to chase Neeb's probe away, and the probe dutifully gets the heck on out of there. Okay, where are we at? Double assimilator just now finishing, cybernetics core completing, and that's the exciting part for Protoss. What happens after the cyber core? So many options. I mean, okay, obviously there's warp gate, but other than warp gate, there are so many options. Twilight Council, robotics facilities, Stargate. SCV from uThermal is here to see exactly what's going on, although the Adept might chase him away. Although he's preemptively running, recognizing either a Stalker or an Adept was coming out of that warp gate, or that gateway, and neither of those are good for our SCV friend. Alright, so what? Double pumping Marines into a factory with double refinery now for uThermal. Okay, second refinery is not quite done yet, but it will be shortly. And it's going to be a Stargate opening out of Neeb, so possibly an Oracle start, which is always very fun to see. Oracles, very high DPS, very low health. They're basically glass cannons. First time I heard that phrase was back when I was playing World of Warcraft, when Burning Crusade was the thing. And I was in a guild that was doing Karazhan, but I was not good enough to join them. But they'd chat in the guild chat all the time when they were raiding in there. So one of the mages just had incredibly high DPS, but was super squishy, and she always referred to herself as a glass cannon. I thought that was a funny term, and I've been liking to use it ever since. Adept trying to kill this SCV from uThermal. uThermal trying to see if there's a third Nexus yet. There is not. And the third shot from the Adept, oh, actually misses. What? There we go. Okay, so uThermal's SCV sticks right up next to these rocks that are covered by gas. Neeb misses with the shot, targeting the rocks instead of the SCV, and then sits there for a second, finally goes into the gas with the SCV and takes it out. That's what he should have done in the first place, which is kind of an interesting thing. That SCV lived about 4 seconds longer than it probably should have. It is an Oracle. It is an Oracle, and the Oracle is moving out. Dun, 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 dun. It's an Oracle. Again, I like to see about 7 kills on an Oracle to consider it successful. I have heard arguments, and very good arguments, in the comments that 6 or 5 is acceptable based on the cost of the Oracle. But I don't know. I like to see 7. I like lucky number 7 on my Oracle. So here we go, moving right on in. There are Marines sitting in that mineral line in the natural. Not a good place to be. One SCV transferring does get killed, though. And the natural mineral line is actually super wide open. Is there really nothing here? There's nothing here. Oh, Widow Mine! Oh, by nothing, I mean, obviously there's a Widow Mine there. I can't see it because it's behind the dish on the orbital command. That's what Neeb was doing. He was poking around the edges, trying to avoid getting smacked in the face by that Widow Mine, but unfortunately got smacked anyway. Bummer. Bummer for him, but did get 3 SCV kills, which is not bad. But I mean, this is the standard defense from Terran. Get a bunch of Marines, sit them in this mineral line, make a Widow Mine for the main, and call it good. And it worked. It worked for uThermal there. So, Liberator on the way for our friend uThermal, or again, Liquid Thermy, as he likes to be called on the Twitters, the Twitter machine, like old people like to say. Is that a Widowmine drop? Widowmine drop. Yep, so Widowmine drop here back. I don't know if it actually killed anything, though. Any probes die? uThermal has killed no workers. Nope. Alright, so fairly ineffective Widowmine drop. Again, the Oracle attack wasn't that great either, so both players just kind of throwing punches at each other. Nobody's really landing anything. Liberator for uThermal heading down from the top right to the bottom left. Going to set up shop here at the third where there are probes. Long distance mining from this not quite finished Nexus. Almost finished. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000. There it is, but the probes are already gone. Long distance mining. Oracle number 2 here from Neeb. Wow, he wants to make up for the problems the first one experienced, but there are so many Marines for uThermal. He has 19 Marines already. Oracle not able to really do much of anything. It's a single kill. That is about it. Phoenix patrolling back and forth here for Neeb around this third base. And where is it? There's the Liberator. Okay, so Liberator just kind of sitting outside. Sitting outside like a nervous 7th grader outside his first school dance. And doesn't want to go in because he'll be rejected, possibly, which is possible for this Liberator to get rejected. Man, let me tell you, my first 7th grade dance, I mean, it was the 90s, right? So the dance was, people went in and listened to music and kind of like danced, sort of, boys and girls together, more like just kind of held on to each other and swayed a little bit. No real dancing was happening. I think we were too cool or too unskilled for that, one of the two. Anyway, I went in, was terrified to talk to any of the girls, sat there for like an hour and a half, and left. It was a really great experience for 12-year-old me. Really formational, I would say. So where did that stupid Liberator go? Liberator, you didn't die, did you? Liberator. Are you playing? Maybe it came all the way back home. It didn't really try to assault this third at all, did it? I don't think it did. Oracle for Neeb still has 1 kill, tossing down Revelation on stuff that still exists inside the main. Anyway, enough story time. Let's get back to the StarCraft. Combat Shield and Stimpack being researched by uThermal. Neeb getting Protoss ground weapons level 1, getting a Warp Prism, getting Blink, getting a Photon Cannon, all sorts of wonderful experiences for our Protoss friend here. A lot of Stalkers. I do like to see a lot of Stalkers when you know Liberators are out. And uThermal's not going Mass Liberator. This is not a Pult build. There are 2 Liberators. How are there only... Wait. 2 Liberators, 32 Marines, and a Widowmine and a Marauder. So really just going fairly macro style. He's not getting a huge army. It's not a 2-base play, obviously because his third is established here in the top left. So 3-base to 3-base. +1 attack has completed for the ground weapons for the Protoss army, and no upgrades yet for uThermal. He's got +1/+1 on the way, but it's not complete, nor is it really anywhere close to being complete. Warp Prism by Neeb with Adepts heading on out, killing a Marine, then picking up and boosting out there. Adepts checking for a 4th. There's not one there yet. Adepts moving into this natural mineral line. There are a bunch of Marines here, so you probably should cancel that. There's the cancel. Warp Prism getting stutter stepped, hit, and the Warp Prism does get taken down by the Marines before it can get onto that high ground. Amazing play. Adepts desperately trying to kill SCVs before they get burned down. The Psionic Transfer keeps one of them alive, but out of the frying pan into the fire, the other Marines take it out. So uThermal, very strong defense there. Super duper strong defense. 4th base coming up from Neeb in the bottom side of the map. Knocking down the Destructible, which is not destructible. Watch. It sinks into the ground. It did not get destroyed. That is such a misleading name. Adept in the middle of the map gets taken down by Marines with Stim, hustling their way towards Neeb's base. Widowmine gets destroyed thanks to the Observer overhead, just outside Neeb's third. And uThermal looking pretty aggressive. I mean, he's got... this is more of a Mass Liberator play than I thought. He's got 4. He's making 2 more. 2 more just completing. 6 Liberators is a big number of Liberators. So we'll see if uThermal can hold this. If Neeb can do it. We did see Neeb handle this fairly well once against Pult, no less. So we'll see if he can manage it here at the WCS Copa Intercontinental. Is that how you say that in Spanish? Intercontinental? I don't know. Revelation being thrown down on these Liberators. Defender mode coming on down. Staying inside the circles is uThermal. Stalkers trying to kill this thing coming from both sides. Guardian Shield is up. Adepts trying to take out this Bio. The Bio gets outside of the Liberators, just going for it. Colossus for Neeb. I didn't see the Colossus. Stalkers want to get rid of those Liberators, focusing them down. All the Liberators are gone. The Bio forced to pick up and boost out. uThermal retreats. Retreats out of there, and the single Colossus from Neeb has 4 kills. Another Colossus on the way. fusion core being built, but again, that is likely as a... Oh, man, medevac gets taken down by Neeb. Did he get both the medevacs that were retreating from that battle? That is a big pickup if he did, because there were some bio units in there. Neeb's up 151 to 131 total supply. It's 73 to 67 harvesters. So our friend Neeb does have the lead. Revelation being tossed on down there as well. Immortal mixed in. +2 attack, +1 armor completed for the Protoss army. Small group of Marines and Marauders getting intercepted by Adepts. Adepts surrounding Colossus from the high ground, going after this bio as well. Colossus coming from the left side, completely unsupported. Doesn't really matter. All the bio's gone. Liberator picks up, tries to retreat. Do the Stalkers have blink? They do. Can they get the blink? They blink forward and almost take down the Liberator. 4 hit points remaining. Warping of Stalkers trying to get that thing. And yes, they do. Great reaction time by Neeb. Warping in Stalkers, blinking them up just in time to catch a retreating Liberator there. How many are there left? No Liberators left for uThermal. Small drop here at the Zelnaga Watchtower on the bottom right side here. uThermal continuing to drop. I just think Neeb has a giant advantage in this game. He's got 4 bases. It's 73 to 67 harvesters. Army supply is 98 to 73. Again, the Colossus. Is the Colossus curse being reversed? We've seen Colossus wins in the last couple of weeks here. If Neeb can win with Colossus, I'm going to stop talking about the Colossus curse. That's it. I'm out. I'm done. Templar Archives coming in. Robotics facility on the way too. Revelation being thrown down on this debris. It's a really big Revelation logo if you're listening instead of watching here. Another attempt to drop by uThermal, just getting massacred. Trying to drop on the 4th. Medevac gets taken down. Another Medevac gets taken down. Neeb is shutting these down like he's Dikembe Mutombo. Alright, so that's a really obscure reference, even if you are American and even if you do like basketball. Dikembe Mutombo played in the NBA. He retired like a decade ago, so... it's just there aren't that many defensive centers in the NBA anymore. Everybody is like a scoring big man who shoots from the outside and can't really protect the rim. Who's the best center in the league right now for defense? Maybe Dwight Howard? But man, he's so old and injured. He's in Atlanta this season. First time in that city. Anyway, uThermal pushing on in with his Marines, Marauders, Liberators. A lot of defender mode circles here. Not looking good for Neeb. Blinking to the left side, trying to get rid of those Liberators, but getting destroyed by Marauders and Marines at the same time. uThermal trying to turn the tide here. More Stalkers coming on in. Colossus trying to burn through this bio. Adepts transferring right on top of the bio. Liberators taking shots. Gone. uThermal gets pushed back again, but took a lot of pieces of Neeb with him. Resources lost about dead even. 10,600 to 11,000 lost. Some Adepts back here at the 3rd base for uThermal. Going after those SCVs, but a small group of Marine and Marauder here to clear them out. +2/+2 completed for those biological units. And the Stalkers at +3/+2. So Neeb winning the upgrade battle, taking a 5th base now on this low ground. The 5th is hard to take because it's on the low ground and it's kind of far away from your other bases. It's just awkward to get to and awkward to defend. I've seen more 5th bases die on this map than anything else, I think, as far as a percentage goes. Adepts Sonic transferring their way up, seeing what they're dealing with. And is he going to finish that? No, he's got Storm now, though. Neeb has Storm, throwing down the Storm. Not going up this ramp, though, because uThermal's holding it with a lot of defender mode circles. He's lost a lot of Liberators, but he's triple pumping them like there's no tomorrow. Circles go away. Neeb takes the invitation to move on up here. uThermal throws down a new set of circles at this choke point, leading up to nothing really. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's a weird place to defend. If you are uThermal. Adepts. Oh, Adepts. Get that base. Not this one. Yeah, coming back around. Going after this 4th base that uThermal has set up. Losing a lot of SCVs here. Marines, Marauders coming around the backside. Adepts are being distracted. Pushing in here to the 5th base of Neeb. Focusing it down with the +2/+2 Marines. They get the Nexus. Like I said, 5th base is hard to hold. Adepts trying to win this thing. No, Liberator taking them down. 3 kills on that Liberator. Marines, Marauders getting photon overcharged in the face as they are retreating here. But they got the 5th. Neeb is forced to replant it. And more defender mode circles here. uThermal might come back and win this thing. Fleet Beacon's coming up. Neeb's going for Tempest. I'm not a huge fan of going for Tempest. But you know what? If you got to do it, you got to do it. Marines and Marauders still killing stuff. Colossus doing much better in the situation than I thought. Storms on top of everything. Is there enough anti-air to get rid of these Liberators? I don't know. That's the problem. Colossus taking shots from the Liberators. Colossus dying. Colossus dying here. Marines and Marauders still at the 4th base, finally getting cleaned up by an influx of Adepts here. Liberators just going to town on this 5th base, killing long-distance mining probes. Colossus with 2 kills, wandering around helplessly as Liberators getting picked off by remaining Stalkers here. So that's a lot of dead probes. 18 workers killed by uThermal, 16 by Neeb, 21,400 resources lost for Neeb, 18,400 for uThermal. All right, so uThermal, more Liberators here. Liberators slowly sieging forward like tanks do. Blink Stalkers taking down 1. Losing a Stalker in exchange. It's probably a fair trade for uThermal. Marines and Marauders with that +2/+2 coming into the 4th, picking off a few buildings, getting stormed right on the top of the head there. Right on the top. War Prisms for Neeb. Where are they flying around? They're flying around Nowheresville. Middle of the map. No real strategic value to them being there. Pushing forward again. +2/+2. Stalkers. Adepts trying to deal with this thing, but these guys are scary with the stim, with the combat shield, with the concussive, nope, no concussive shell. I'm a giant liar. That's not there yet. Continued reinforcements off of now 4 bases for uThermal. That 4th base along the right side has been completed. Colossus getting focused down by the Marauders. Still alive. Still alive with 5 kills to its name. Adepts trying to harass that 4th base once again, but more and more Marauders showing up. Adepts doing very poorly in that situation. SCVs losing their lives nonetheless. It's 116 to 116 total supply. Totally even right now. Okay, Neeb's down to 114, but this is coming down to the wire, you guys. Who can win these battles consistently? Again, I just don't know that Neeb has the answer to these Liberators is the problem. He's got a small number of Stalkers. Colossus trying to help out against this bio and does manage to do so. Can the Stalkers with the +3 attack doing 17 damage versus armor take out the Stalker Liberators from distance? He is slowly whittling down this number and actually forces the Liberators to pick up and retreat here, killing them with a blink forward. Small scattered group of Marines and Marauders here. SCVs, long distance mining. uThermal picking up and trying to line at the gold base. Why are you doing that? That seems like such a weird choice. Stalkers gleefully taking down that orbital command, forcing it to retreat back to its original location. I think it came from the natural. I think it came from the natural. Yeah, so Neeb 134, uThermal 102 total supply. Neeb's just basically avoiding the Liberators, finds a group of Marines and Marauders, takes them out, and that's it. A GG from uThermal. uThermal is defeated, and Neeb is victorious, taking game number 1 in what was a very stressful PvT just for me to even cast. Can't imagine what they were feeling playing it, but wow, what an absolutely fantastic match. In the end, Neeb had just enough to take the Liberators out. There were still 7, but uThermal only had 1 Marauder and 11 Marines remaining. And those Stalkers, that group of 16 Stalkers that Neeb had, MVPs of the match for sure, taking down Liberator after Liberator, finding angle after angle, protecting that 5th base after it died once, and really not allowing any other bases to die there. Again, the drops by uThermal weren't super effective. Once that happened, you had to know the chances of Neeb winning this game were pretty good, but uThermal made a game of it. He made a game of it and almost took it out, but in the end, Neeb takes the victory. So that's game number 1. We'll move on to game number 2 here in just a second. Welcome back, StarCraft fans, to game 2 between uThermal and Neeb, here from WCS Copa Intercontinental. And let's get right on into it. In the bottom right side of the map here, which is Frost for game number 2, we have the red Protoss player. It is Neeb. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Terran player. It is uThermal, currently down 1-0 against his Protoss opponent. Can he come back and force a game number 3, or is he just going to lose 2-0 in this series? It seems possible. It seems possible, although he was very close to winning in game number 1. That's just brutal. It's brutal in all sports, esports included, when you have it in the bag. You've fought so hard. You've done great things. You've scored points. You've killed units. You've done everything right, but your opponent's just meeting you beat for beat, stroke for stroke, punch for punch, and then in the last seconds you make a mistake or your opponent pulls off something brilliant and you lose, and all of that work is for nothing. But thankfully for uThermal, it's not a single elimination series, so he can afford to lose a game and come back. Alright, so this is Frost. It's a ginormous 4-player map. 1, 2, 3, 4 bases. You can spawn in any of these 4 locations. This probe is heading out to scout the top right. Unfortunately, will not see his opponent there, but then should hold at the top left eventually. Usually Reaper expands pretty good here just because Reapers can scout pretty quickly, and yes, indeed that is a Reaper. Oh, it was a Reaper and then he canceled. What? Ah, he had a Reaper, then he canceled it and made a reactor instead. uThermal, you tease. You tease. You know I'm trying to get through my Reaper list. You know I'm trying to do it. I've got a name ready to go. It has a good backstory and everything, and I can't use it because you've refused to go Reaper in these first 2 games. What a first world problem that is. Alright, so meanwhile, Protoss player is working on that cybernetics core, has a Nexus back there as well, and Neeb's sending the probe to the top left as prophesied. As prophesied by Falcon Paladin. So the probe's gonna move on up here. Hello, probe. Hello, mate. I don't have a very good British accent. I really don't. That's actually something that I learned, is Orphan Black, which I have been talking about a lot recently. Tatiana Marslani, which I'm not sure if I'm saying that last name right. It's a weird one. She plays a British character on the show, and she's Canadian, I believe. So I always thought the accent was fine. I thought the British accent was fine, but there was a Reddit thread about her winning her first Emmy, and they were like, her British accent is horrendous. And I was like, oh, well, I never noticed. That is the joys of being an American, I suppose. And really anybody else. Like, who else could pick out a terrible British accent unless you're actually English yourself? I guess maybe the Irish could. They're close enough to the situation to tell, but I don't know. I don't actually know. Command center here upgrading itself to an orbital command for uThermal at the expansion. And got 4 Marines holding the center top Zelnaga Watchtower. So what does Neeb have to deal with 4 Marines? 2 Stalkers, that seems pretty good. I think with some good micro, they could probably win that battle. Twilight Council and Robotics Facility on the way here for the Neebs. For the Neeb start. Did I not... Ah! There's your names. I kept looking up and I was missing something, but it's uThermal Neeb up top. There we go. There we go. Felt naked for a minute there. Actually, it is really hot in my house. I should take off my shirt. Alright, so factory building a Widow Mine. Starport building itself a medevac. Another Widow Mine is already out. I think this is going to be another Widow Mine drop attempt. Did Neeb shut that first one? No, the one in game number 1 shut down really hard. Blah, that sentence was bad. Neeb shut down the first Widow Mine drop really hard in game number 1. uThermal is brave to try it again. Although it's not really much of an investment. Widow Mines are pretty cheap. They only cost 50 minerals each, right? 50 minerals each. I'm such a liar. 75 minerals and 25 gas. Why did I think they were only gas? Did they used to be only gas? Somebody let me know in the comments. I feel like they only used to be minerals before. No gas component at all. Maybe they buffed up the cost. Alright, Neeb is planning to take a 3rd base here directly to the left of his main. He made an observer. Brilliant. And here comes the Widow Mine drop by uThermal angling down. This is your captain speaking. We should be arriving shortly at the natural base. There are stalkers below us. There's really nowhere to drop, unfortunately. Wow, did Neeb know what was going to happen here or what? He is waiting for this medevac to come by with 3 stalkers, 2 more coming on in. Observer mixed in 2. This is the most ill-fated Widow Mine drop I have ever seen in my entire life. There's no way it can succeed. What does he have? He's got Photon Overcharge here ready in the main 2. In case the medevac somehow makes it past these stalkers and into the main, which does seem pretty impossible. Observer tries to scout stuff out inside uThermal's base, but gets scanned and killed by these Marines. There's a Raven that came out like 2 seconds later, so... I don't know, seems like a bit of a waste of a scan, but I am not a professional StarCraft 2 player. Blurg. Blurg, I say. Blink being researched. Forge on the way for Neeb. I guess I could just say Forge on the way, and you could assume it was Neeb because Terran players don't have Forges. You ever think about that? Command Center coming up as well. I've been casting for way too long. I'm getting a little bit loopy, but that makes it fun. That makes it fun, right? Leote, critter down here by the 3rd base of Neeb. Pylon on the high ground. That is a good place to harass for Terran, is setting up tanks on the high ground behind this 3rd and just wasting it, but uThermal sitting here with the medevac hovering. I don't know how they hover. considering they just have jets on the back. I don't really see any jets pointing down, allowing for a hover thing, but whatever. Warp Prism with some Adepts on the inside. Yep, Adept Warp Prism attempt here for Neeb, moving into uThermal's base, but nope, there are a bunch of Marines, like 12 Marines and a Raven. Not going to happen. Get out of there, Warp Prism. Run for your life. Liberator heading south as well. Going to try to set up some shop and cause some damage to Neeb's bases. Income tab, 51 to 60 Harvesters. Neeb looking good. Looking like he wants that 2-0 series victory. The 2-0 is nice because that game 3 is really stressful. We see a lot of mistakes and a lot of caution in game 3s, to be honest. All right, Liberator still heading on down. Probably going to try to set up shop at this third base. Mothership Core somewhat nearby, sitting inside the main, ready to photon overcharge if necessary, but that Liberator might get a few kills off before anybody can really respond to it. Neeb seems like he's ready, but maybe not as much as I thought. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Yep, setting up. How many kills? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before Neeb recognizes and pulls. Mothership Core not heading over this direction. That's interesting. Stalkers, do they have blink? They have blink. And ready, blink. Ready, blink. They're trying to find an angle to attack, and they can't. You just got, okay, photon overcharge being used. There's the blink. A Stalker dies, but that's probably a fair trade for a Liberator there. So 6 dead probes. It's 57 to 59 Harvesters now. uThermal doing a good job pulling even with his opponent. A push coming out with Marines, with Marauders. Stim completed. Combat Shield completed as well. Some medevacs mixed in there for good measure because Marine Marauder medevac has been a thing since the beginning of time with StarCraft 2. Warp Prism with Adepts trying to just find somewhere to drop and cause problems. And this seems like a good location. This newly established third by uThermal to the bottom right of the natural. But there are tanks, there are Marines, there are Marauders here. Warp Prism does not get taken out. Adepts instead are the focus of the murders. 4 SCV kills though. And that's 59 to 61 Harvesters for Neeb. So both players sitting on 3 bases. Immortal on the way for Neeb. Another Forge coming up, +1 ground armor being researched. Warp Prism trying to get out of there, but the Liberator is chasing it down. Adepts finally dropped off here at the base once again. Psionic Transfer being used. Can they get out before they get destroyed? Transfer finishes for 3 of them. Oh, and they get destroyed by another group of bio right there. So they got 5 SCVs before they got destroyed, though. So Neeb continues that tenuous lead. Mules being tossed on down. I feel like the income's probably fairly even. Actually, Neeb, 2,400 doing 24, depending on that mule stuff. Obviously, advanced ballistics complete for the Liberators, allowing for that defender mode circle to get bigger. Or not bigger, but just farther away from the Liberator. Extends the range on it, is what I meant to say. Templar Archives coming up for Neeb as well. Stalkers, Adepts, Immortals, all with +1/+1 here, coming up against Marine Marauder, Raven, Liberator, Medevac. So Neeb coming to defend his third, taking a 4th base as well to up and left of the natural base. Under construction. Adepts Psionic transferring in to see exactly what they're dealing with, and the answer is a lot of blue stuff here moving in. Why is Neeb moving away? Okay, he's coming back. He's coming back. Get those Liberators. Get him. PDD coming up, though, blocking. Good force field, keeping a lot of the bio away from this battle, and yes, the Liberators are all gone. A lot of bio taking some shots here as well, right to the face. Immortals doing extra damage versus those Marauders. What a hold by Neeb. Absolutely brilliant there. Meanwhile, Adepts try to sneak into that third, but nope, there are 3 Liberators sitting there with Marines and Marauders. A Marine, I think, trying to cause some damage here at the 4th. And Guardian Shield coming up in this bottom section here. Not a great location for Neeb. Not all of his units can attack is the problem. Blinking forward with the Stalkers, though. Getting that medevac. Yeah, getting 1 medevac. And getting the other one if they can do it. Yes, getting it. Everybody dead there for uThermal. Losing Marines, losing Marauders. More coming down, though, from uThermal. The 3-base economy of a Terran is pretty darn strong. Pretty strong indeed. So where are they? Where are they coming? Liberator setting up. Marines, Marauders killing Adepts. Stalkers from that left side. Adepts trying to do what they can as well on both sides. Storm's available. No, turning into an Archon are those 2 Templar, but unfortunately getting destroyed before they can actually finish morphing. Neeb does not have the requisite number of Stalkers to deal with this. Maybe he does? Extremely difficult. Adepts trying to hold off against this bio. Immortals not really getting mixed in either. Just going for it. Here is Neeb. Stalkers focusing on Liberators. Adepts and Immortals clearing everything else out. And Neeb holds once again. Neeb holding once again here. uThermal setting up a defender mode circle here at the 4th base for Neeb. Covering a couple mineral patches. Not all of them. But the Stalkers find a nice area to attack. But nope. uThermal just sets up. Pulls back. Away from the minerals, which is what Neeb wanted. An observer comes out to check out exactly what is going on. +2 attack on the way from uThermal. It's just Marine Marauder Liberator right now. Neeb, on the other hand, is making Templar 61 to 70. Total Harvesters 4 bases to 3 bases. uThermal's down that way. And a Command Center going to land for a 4th for uThermal directly to the right of his main base. Liberator with 5 kills. Again, covering a couple of these mineral patches at this 4th base. More Liberators showing up. Get out of there, probes. Run. Run. Oh, this dead airspace behind the 4th is really difficult. Stalkers trying to kill Liberators and getting out of there alive, which is pretty good. Marines Marauders coming into the 3rd base. Storm. More on top of his own warping in units than anything else, unfortunately for Neeb, but he does push these bio units away. Liberators getting out of there as well, having successfully shut down the 4th for a few minutes anyway. For Neeb, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. +3 attack coming up for Neeb as well. Getting ground armor level 3, getting charge. I love the choice of charge. I love zealots in the PvZ composition. Stalker count seems a little... Did somebody kill the Leote? Ah, somebody killed the Leote. Where is it? There's the Leote. Here comes the attack. Oh, they did. You jerk, uThermal. You killed the critter. Critter never did anything to you. Adepts coming in to scout exactly what they're seeing. Liberators getting out of defender mode. And Adepts trying to finish that transfer. They do. Chasing those Marines and Marauders back home. But they're not as fast as those guys because of their stim drug abilities. Liberators sneaking around the bottom side of the map, trying to set up shop at the 3rd base again. Stalkers warping in to prevent that one from happening. With +2 attack, they should be pretty successful, assuming they don't just rally, as they do. So, Liberators die very quickly. Very nicely done by Neeb. Planetary Fortress and 4th base is under attack by Immortals, by Stalkers. Mass repair going on. Storm on the bio. Neeb looking great here. Can simultaneously assault the 4th base while holding off the bio here from uThermal. I'm not sure that he has enough to save this base. Liberators are setting up shop, 3 of them, and Stalker count. Neeb, I think you can do this, Neeb. Neeb. No. I think you got it. More reinforcements. Defender's advantage really favoring uThermal right now. All right, so just doing the dance. Liberators setting up circles. Neeb sniping away with Stalkers, with Sentries, with Adepts, with Immortals. 12 kills on that Immortal. Looking great. Some force fielding on the ramp as well. And coming in to assault, forcing a full retreat on this 3rd base. Great positioning by Neeb thus far. 140 to 99 total supply. Can he get that orbital command? He's trying to kill supply depots, perhaps by accident. But again, Stalkers with +2 attack are no joke, and the orbital command falls. uThermal loses his 3rd base. He's in a huge amount of trouble right now. Is he going to get 2-0'd? He might get 2-0'd in this game. Holy shamoly. All right, so Stalkers killing supply depots. Stalkers killing other stuff. uThermal making a push, almost a desperation push with Marines, Marauders, and Liberators at this 4th base for Neeb. Can he take it down? Liberators setting up those shop. There's some Templar here with Storm almost available, but not quite. Oh, that's so unfortunate for the Templar. They both get taken down by these bio units before they can run. And the 4th base is under attack. Mothership Core is here. Marines trying to take it down as well. Are we kind of base racing it right now? We are. Neeb moving on up into the main base. SCVs forced to get pulled off the lines. Storm on those, blinking forward with the Stalkers, getting rid of defensive Liberators. This is not looking good for uThermal. It's 145 to 66 total supply. Stalkers taking down production facilities in uThermal's base. Starports are under assault. Barracks are under assault, and that's it. A GG from uThermal. uThermal's defeated. Neeb is victorious, and uThermal has left the game. What the hell? What? So, spawningduel.com told me this was game number 2 from the series here on Frost, and that it's a 3-game series. But Neeb won games 1 and 2, right? Am I hallucinating here? Game 1 on Galactic Process, Neeb won. Frost won game 2. Well, that's disappointing. Alright, we'll wrap this one up. I mean, Neeb just, again, superior stalker positioning. He did a great job keeping that Liberator count low. uThermal went with him. They were pretty effective, but in the end, Stalker's defending, especially defending, was very, very impressive. He went for the base race. uThermal didn't have quite the army that Neeb did and recognized that and tapped out. So nice job, Neeb. I don't think he 2-0'd uThermal. I think there's another win here somewhere, which I'm so mad. I'm so upset. All right, we'll move into game 3 here in just a second. Welcome back, StarCraft fans. This is Falcon Paladin, and I ruined everything. I feel so bad. So what I did is I went to lotv.spawningtool.com, looked for a series that I hadn't cast any games from yet, from WCS Copa Internacional, or Intercontinental rather. And I found a series I hadn't touched yet, and I said, okay, it's 3 games, so it's probably a best of 3, and then I didn't check Liquipedia. None of these series were best of 3. These were a best of 5, or best of 7. And that was my mistake, because this is actually the 3rd place match between uThermal and Neeb. So it is a best of 5. So we'll keep this going. Basically with Neeb with a 2-0 series lead. We'll see if uThermal can come back here. All Neeb has to do is win 1 more game, and uThermal's in a ton of, and uThermal's out. He's not in a ton of trouble. He's just flat out. So here we are with uThermal and Neeb here in game number 3 in Dasan Station. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. It is Neeb from Ting. And in the top left side of the map, we have the blue Terran player. It is uThermal from Team Liquid. All right, so PvT again here, game number 3 between these players. uThermal going heavy on the Liberator Bio stuff. Liberator Bio, some Widowmine drops mixed in there as well, but the Widowmine drops have failed miserably in games 1 and 2. We'll see if he can try to make it happen here. It's a weird map, though. This is Dasan Station. You have a fairly safe natural to take inside your main base, but you got backdoor rock to worry about. You have front door ramps to worry about. There's a gold you can take that can be harassed from the back side. It's weird. Weird stuff happens on this map. We don't ever really see standard games at all. And uThermal, once again, does not open Reaper, even despite the short rush distance. I feel like a Reaper would be good in this situation, but instead, uThermal going for the reactor instead. He's got the single refinery going thus far. SAV Scout moving right on in to Neeb's base as well. And yeah, so everything fairly standard to this point. Neeb does have a Nexus, expansion Nexus, command center being constructed by uThermal as well. There's an Ursidon in here. What up, Ursidon? You are cool, man. You have giant tusks. You got like horns coming out your back as well. One of them's busted. Man, you're a fighter. Fighter. Is it broken? Yep, it looks broken. It's a pretty cool animation. Somebody spent a while on this, I think. I have no artistic skill whatsoever, and am constantly awed by those people that do. So double pumping Marines is uThermal. Mothership core for Neeb heading out. Maybe for some harassment? We've seen this before. Poor Ultralisk. Tethered here on this map. Just part of the scenery, not really involved in the game. Probe heading up, trying to see what it can do. Marines want to kill it. And Neeb says, oh, maybe we're not. Why are we trying to kill these Marines? I mean, Adept moving in here as well, assisting. Can the Marines get the Mothership core with reinforcing Marines? I think you can. And, oh, tries to recall home, but gets taken down. Nice pickup. Nice pickup by uThermal there. Marines trying to push on out and just getting destroyed by these Adepts, though. That's the unfortunate thing. Whack. Alright, so resources lost here, 300 to 250. uThermal has lost more, but Mothership cores dying is never a good feeling for Protoss. Is he replacing her? I don't know that Neeb's actually replacing his Mothership core yet. That's weird. Alright, robotics facility on the way and a Twilight Council. This is kind of a mirror of game number 2, where Neeb went for those buildings very early on indeed. There's that Mothership core being made at the main base. It's not a long build time. What is it? It's 21 seconds in game, which actually seems really short now that I think about it. But uThermal going for the Widowmine drop again. If at first you don't succeed, try again if your name is uThermal. He's got a second Widowmine on the way. He's got a medevac there as well. Observer coming out for Neeb of that robotics facility. Resonating glaives being researched, increasing that attack speed of the Adepts by a full 45%. barracks being constructed, another barracks too. So uThermal, I don't think he's going to change a single thing. Yes, he's lost game 1 and 2. Game 1 was close. Game 2, maybe not as... Well, I don't know. It was basically a base race. I don't know that Neeb was ever really in danger of losing that thing to the base race, but still, it was a base race, and those are kind of by definition quite close. So where is that drop? Where are you, Widowmine drop? I lost ya. Dang it. There you are. There you are, sneaking around this bottom side. Trying to sneak into the natural, I think, but there are stalkers, there are adepts here. That's a difficult sell, but here comes uThermal going for it anyway, taking stalker shots and just rebuffed once again. uThermal! uThermal, Neeb knows you're going to try to do this. You can't. Alright. Engineering bay blocking off this backdoor access. Okay, to access this back door as an opponent, you actually have to knock down your own rocks to get back there. You'd think it's accessible elsewhere, but it's either these rocks or these debris to get around to this side to come up that ramp. And it's walled off now anyway, so mer. Warp Prism with Adept. Adept drops this way by Neeb. And gonna try to maybe harass the natural. Yeah, based on that rally point, it's the natural. There's nothing really here defending it either. This could be a fairly successful Adept drop by the Neebster. I don't think Neebster is an accepted nickname for Neeb. Neeblet! Neeblet is, though. Third base here for Neeb here at the gold. Meanwhile, the Adepts drop. Attack and expand. Attack and expand. Warping in more Adepts here. This base gets completely abandoned. uThermal. Oh, did he kill his own SCV there by accident? Hold on. Hold on. What is... Oh, he did Widowmine drop here. Liberator sets up Widowmine drop there as well at the same time. And Widowmine gets a shot off, killing some probes, which means we have to back up one more time. Yeah, SCV's coming in for help. The Marines say, come here, we will assist you. Bam! Kills one of his own SCVs. I think the tank killed it, maybe. Nope. Nope, but cleaning up these Adepts nonetheless. Micro not so good for Neeb, but probably because he's defending back on home. That Liberator set up. The Widowmines set up. Both players losing 5 workers there. And Neeb picking up and getting out of there with the Warp Prism. So third base on the way for Neeb. That could be a nice little advantage he has over his opponent, trying to win the series 3-0. Which is always a difficult thing. It's tough to sweep an opponent who is very good, as uThermal is. Stargate coming up, Fleet Beacon coming up. Neeb might be early going for Tempest here. Clears out the Widowmines in his natural base. Warp Prism unloading once again, but Marines here ready to rock. Picking up, running away is Neeb, escaping over to that low ground. Income tab is 44 to 47 total workers in favor of Neeb. And yeah, I think he's just going early Tempest. He's like, I'm tired of dealing with Liberators using Stalkers. Why don't I just go Tempest early, get a huge ball of them, and try to one-shot those suckers. And actually, uThermal's not necessarily going for that many Liberators. He has 0 right now, so that may be an indicator. Warp Prism trying to get taken down, but Adepts unloading to assist their Warp Prism carrier. Third base under construction by uThermal, not really. Nothing under construction. He doesn't have a third command center at all. Production tab says no. 2 orbital commands, and that is it. Late Oracle by Neeb sneaking out. Did he see the lack of missile turret here? I think he might have. Getting chased away by Marines, though. Revelation being tossed on down. Oracle, be so darn careful. So darn careful. I think uThermal's 2 base in this. I don't see any sign of a third. Tempest from Neeb, but they're going to be useless unless they try to focus down Medivacs because there are no Liberators in this army. Ursadon, a little bit stuck in the traffic there, goes back on into the main base saying, this is where I want to hang out. Don't try to shove me out of here, Marines, you jerks. Yeah, jerks. It's a weird place for the Ursadon to be. Anyway, Tempest going to get burned down by these Marines very quickly. And doesn't actually die, but these Tempests are, again, they're sort of useless. Adept drop at the natural base, again causing massive problems for uThermal, losing a bunch of SCVs. Marines and tanks finally show up to clear these suckers out, but continuing to push forward. Force fields keeping uThermal at bay for the time being. Using Tempest to take out tanks, maybe not a bad idea. I mean, they don't do extra damage here, but you know what? So what? You gotta use them. They're taking up supply. Tanks setting up shop. Guardian shield reducing the damage the Marines are doing. Tempest doing a pretty good job targeting stuff. They don't really want to attack Marines if they don't have to. But uThermal pushing through 96 to 102 total supply. Neeb has a bit of a lead here. The Tempest just continuing to shell from long distance. Hitting Marines is not a good use of their time. Hitting Medivacs, again, I suggest. is a better use here. And moving right on in is uThermal, Marines, Marauders with the stim, trying to take out all these ground armies. Tempest rocking away at the medevacs. Never mind, now going against Marines, which it doesn't kill them very fast is the problem. There's still a single adept back here with 9 total kills that is being entirely ignored by uThermal, trying to push it on in with tanks. Marauders coming in as well. Unfortunately, he is down 33 to 60 total harvesters. Neeb pushing the defense to the maximum. uThermal trying to win this thing with drops, sneaking around to the natural base with what, a tank and 3 Marauders. Yeah, he's going to get some probes, that's for sure. Getting rid of a pylon, so photon overcharge is not necessarily a thing. Trying to cancel warpins doesn't really work, though. Tempest getting one of the medevacs and forcing uThermal to retreat. More reinforcements coming in for uThermal. Finally clean out that adept at the natural base. Again, no sign of a third. This is a 2-base all-in. A 2-base all-in from uThermal. He has a Liberator here. He's trying to attack from multiple angles at once. There are adepts defending the natural base. Again, that many adepts with resonating glaives, doing fairly good against a tank and 3 Marauders here. Tempest being a lot more effective than I thought they would. The range, there are some good dead air spaces they can sit over, so they don't just get focused down, and that's it. The good game well played. Good game well played out of uThermal. uThermal's defeated, and Neeb is victorious, taking the 3-0 victory off of uThermal. Again, not an easy task. Not an easy task, but managed to pull it off anyway, making Protoss fans everywhere very happy. Neeb does take 3rd place in WCS Copa Intercontinental. Woo! Again, I apologize. I apologize for ruining this series for you guys. I thought for sure this was a best of 3. I didn't check. Spawning tool wasn't super clear about it. Not that that's an excuse. I mean, I should have checked Liquipedia before I even started, but I was excited. I was excited to cast a PvT for you guys and did not do my due diligence. Anyway, pretty good series back and forth. Again, Neeb 3-0'd, but that's one of the closer 3-0s you're ever going to see. That game 1 was tight. Game 2 was tight. uThermal came in there. I thought for sure the Tempest would be useful, but they got about 5 or 6 kills each. That adds up. That adds up over time, and Neeb managed to pull out the victory. So congratulations to Neeb taking that 3rd place finish, which is nothing to sneeze at. And that's it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin with yet another StarCraft Legacy of the Void series. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself. Thanks again to my patrons, 19 Day, Nicholas Cheek, Sean Govin, Nick Riley, Josh Cornelius, Jin, Pedro Batsardis, Robert Farmer, KN, Keith Garlow, Matt Meermans, Hekon Marcus, Christopher, Alex Coffey, Ben Raboin, Alexandros Konardis, Michael Wellen, Plaid, Complex, Clayton Knight, Ian Westbrook, Michael McIntosh, Jan Kodera, Bo Brissett, Kale Anderson, Pushpak Eledu, Trevor Smith, Men Haidayan, Rajiv Bhatt, Bakberti, and Sikopatara. All right. Thank you so much again. Link at the top right, and goodbye.